Howdy, howdy, howdy. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Good to see y'all. Going live for probably 30 minutes or so here. Live on TikTok and YouTube today. So let me know if you guys have any questions as you're popping on in here. And then if you're watching on the replay on YouTube, there's a bunch of good free resources down below if you want just like a free course to start getting selling on Amazon, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I see some of you guys already hopping in here. Let's see. What's up, Jack? You said you want to pay off your dad's debt. I like that. That's a good goal. Yeah. So I started just selling used books. Is how I started. If you have like a little bit of money to get started with, then I would recommend buying and selling name brand stuff that already sells. So buying it from big websites and flipping it back on Amazon that way. Obviously, there's a little bit of like technical knowledge that goes into that. So let me know if you have any other questions on that. But super basics. You'll just want SellerAmp and Keepa for sourcing products, and then start seeing what's working for other Amazon sellers, especially when we got like Q4 coming up here. There's going to be a lot of opportunity on like Christmas gift items and that kind of thing. It's kind of the pretty much the best 2-month-ish season of selling on Amazon starts right about now with like Halloween prep and all that kind of stuff. Then we got Black Friday sales and obviously lots of sales that happen on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, especially if you're selling on Amazon. You'll see really big sales days. Last year's like 20 grand just on Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So it's always really cool on those really high sales days. And then you got Christmas, obviously. So it'll be like 10 days where everything is at peak demand. Let's see. Do you use prep centers? Yeah. I ship most of my stuff to a prep center. If you guys are brand new, it's basically just like a third-party company that you can ship your inventory to, and they'll check it all in and kind of take care of the actual shipping process for you. What's up? We said you have wholesale accounts. Looking for a prep center. Yeah, I mean, prep centers aren't super hard to find. Especially if you're doing wholesale, just find a prep center near your wholesaler so that your shipping is as cheap as possible. For sure. Sweet. Yeah, let me know what other questions you guys got here. See, if you choose to not get an LLC and your name is used, is your name used in place of an LLC? Yeah, you can start your Amazon account under like a sole proprietor, which would be like, basically what you have by default if you don't have an LLC. But yeah, your name would show on the account. So if you don't want that to be the case, then you'll need to get like an official like corporate address and corporate name, that kind of thing, for sure. Let's see. Wholesaler, lots of your wholesalers are different. Yeah, then a lot of wholesalers who use prep centers, you'll get a prep center near, like multiple prep centers near your wholesalers. Typically, you'd only be buying from like a handful of wholesalers anyway. And it'll just save you a bunch of shipping if you kind of group it all together. See, how do you avoid Section 3 when doing IA? Yeah, just make sure you're buying like legitimate inventory. Section 3 reviews, if you guys are like brand new, basically Amazon every so often might review your account randomly and say, hey, we need to make sure that we need to make sure that your inventory is legit. And you can prove that your inventory is legit as long as you're buying stuff from like legitimate online websites, legitimate wholesalers, local retail stores, that kind of thing, that are all not selling counterfeits or stuff that's stolen, that kind of thing. You'll be good to go. Yeah, I know it's scary to get like Amazon account reviews and that kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, like it's a net benefit. That way, like three Christmases ago, Amazon let a ton of people who were selling fakes onto the platform, and the prices got driven down. And for legitimate sellers, it was very difficult to make money that year, especially on like a few items that were like really fast sellers, really heavily counterfeit, and that kind of got rid of a lot of that. So just make sure you're buying as legitimate stuff as possible. You'll be good to go. Let's see. Bought from legit. Yeah, add as much extra info as you can, basically. Let's see. You want some tips on sourcing? Yeah, so as far as like sourcing inventory goes, start just by looking at what your account's already approved to sell. So those are going to be auto ungated products. You got to remember that a lot of products that you want to sell on Amazon will be gated, right? So you have to get approved to sell those brands. And then just start reverse sourcing. So look at the other people who are selling some of those brands you can already sell. And see what else they're already having success with. So some example starting points, if you look at Athletic Works, that's a brand that's created and sold by Walmart. So anyone selling those products on Amazon buys lots of other inventory from Walmart, right? And then it's easy to just figure out how they're buying stuff. Yeah, and you can kind of just reverse engineer how other people are already having success on Amazon. And then, ideally you'll kind of stumble into an idea. Maybe there's a good coupon you find, maybe a good sale, and then I'll just start sourcing that ideal in particular. See, can you suggest any wholesalers? So wholesaler names are not really going to be super valuable, just because like wholesale is not really what I do, first of all. And as far as like wholesaling goes, one wholesaler could be really good for somebody and really bad for me, right? Just because wholesale is like a relationship based business, basically. Let's see. Athletic Works, Amigo. Yeah, it's like a auto and gate brand. Why is it so hard for you to find products profitably? Yeah, the biggest reason why most people can't find profitable products is because they're trying to find them. They're not creating profit, right? You're creating the profitable products. So in other words, you're not finding an item that's $10 at there's $10 at Walgreens and it's $30 on Amazon, right? It's the item that is $20 at Walgreens. And let's say today in particular is a 20% sale plus a buy one, get one, plus you can get some cash back, right? So the Amazon seller who just looked at the retail price skips it, but a smart Amazon seller who's going to stay around for a long time creates the profit on a product, rather than just like, just hoping you stumble across it. So whenever you're looking at products, make sure you're factoring everything in. So loyalty rewards programs, coupons, sales, discounted gift cards, cash back, lots of different ways to add up bonus money. Yeah, like cash back alone pays the vast majority of my bills at this point. And that's just like one like nice side effect of the business. So you should be making sure you're maximizing like every single possible outcome, basically. Let's see. Helping people start the business here. Yeah, let me know if we got what questions you got. Yes. Yeah, for any of you guys who are like brand new, just kind of wanting to get started. Lots of good stuff to learn for free. If you guys are on TikTok, there's a free course up in my bio. It's like 3 hours long, has some spreadsheets and that kind of stuff that'll help you get started as well. For sure. What's up, Adrian? How you doing, man? Good to see you. A little late. You're all good. All good. Sounds good. Let's see. What's up? Zach, you said, as a new seller, should you try to sell things that are auto-ungated or should you try to get ungated buying from a distributor? Yeah, you might as well sell auto-ungates when you're getting started just because it's like opportunity that's already unlocked. But you can always like get ungated to sell things that are still gated for you. So do both, basically. Chill out, German. You want to shoot for about 10 to 20% profit. All right, that's enough, man. That's enough. leave some space for everybody else. That's funny. Yeah, so you want to shoot for about 10 to 20% profit as an Amazon seller. Yeah, if you're doing a lot of the work yourself, then it's probably going to be closer to 20%. The way I like to sell on Amazon, where I hire virtual assistants to do a lot of the work and hire prep centers to do a lot of the shipping, that kind of thing, you're probably closer to like 10% profit margin. What do you think about other Amazon sellers who say sales equals ungate and invoices are bad? I mean, I don't see how invoices could be bad because that's how you prove that you're buying legitimate stuff. But if you do, like, the more sales you make, the more auto ungates you'll get. That is definitely true. Usually you'll see it around like the 5 to 10K sales mark, where you'll start to plug in brands that previously wanted an invoice, now will automatically unlock for you. Yeah, there's a lot of like auto ungates as well, so you can just kind of start with that if that's holding you back. Right now is like honestly probably the perfect time to get started on Amazon, if not maybe like 2 to 4 weeks ago, because we got Christmas coming up, so that's when the prices are going to be as high as possible. So right now, during the next like 30 days, if you can lock in and sell some auto ungate products, kind of learn the basics, that'll teach you a ton about how to really take advantage of everything that's going to be super profitable during the Christmas rush, basically. So how do you win the buy box on listings? Yeah, so buy box, just like the add to cart button. Obviously, you want your store in the add to cart button. The most important things for getting sales on Amazon is having the same or even a slightly higher price than who is currently winning the sales on a listing, and having the fastest shipping speed. So typically that's going to mean FBA sellers who are close or at the lowest price on the listing are going to be making the sales. And then you're usually just going to take turns in the buy box or making those sales, basically, is how you can think about it. Let's see. How long does Amazon seller take to get approved? It kind of depends. Usually, especially recently, I've seen it be like a few days, maybe a week or two. So you definitely want to get that going if you don't have your account already. Yeah, you have a seller account not listing products yet. Need help on what products to find. Yeah. You gotta, obvious step one is getting the Amazon seller account out. As far as sourcing products goes, just fire up SellerAmp and Keepa. Those are the two softwares that you need for product research. It's like $40 a month. And then the basic gist is figure out what's already working for other Amazon sellers. Just look up on YouTube, just look up Fields of Profit product sourcing or Fields of Profit auto ungated. It'll show you. I've got a bunch of videos on YouTube for free showing you how to source products using those tools and kind of making it as simple as possible for you. Let's see. I don't do wholesale or private label. Yeah, for sure. Let's see, 2.5. No, so I sell 2.5 million a year. So profit for me, I'm usually shooting for about 10% net because I'm paying a team to do 95% of the work, all the shipping, that kind of thing. Gross margin, you want to be closer to like 20% gross margin, so you have plenty of room to, pay yourself extra if you want, or pay a team to do a lot of the work for you. I prefer paying people to do the work for me with a little bit of the extra profit. Can you wholesale with a reseller's permit? Yeah, depends on the state. Some states you don't even need a resale permit because there's like already sales tax exemptions and stuff. Let's see. If a product sells 50 times a month, only has a couple other people selling it, is a good product to sell? Yeah, definitely can be. Honestly, I don't really look at how many other people are selling on the products that I sell, which sounds weird. I do look at the trend of sellers, right? So if normally there's 3 sellers on a listing and in the last week it's become 30, I'm obviously going to be a little bit more apprehensive. But I've sold really good products with 100 sellers on it. I've sold really good products with 2 sellers on it. It's just more about the trend of sellers. You just want to make sure in general you're not buying into things that a lot of other people are buying into, because it's going to cause a natural race to the bottom, basically. But yeah, good question there, Zach. Let's see, source. Yeah, I don't do Shopify or AliExpress or anything like that. As far as like my sources, I just buy from big websites. So last night we were buying some like vitamins from Walgreens and Vitacost, that kind of thing. We're buying some clothes from like big clothing brand websites, like all kinds of stuff. But I think we bought some makeup from like Ulta, some other big beauty websites, that kind of thing. Mostly just kind of trying to stock up for the holiday rush at this point, because everything's about to get a lot faster selling and a lot more profitable. So trying to get ready for that, basically. Sweet. And it says to submit 100 units to get ungated. Do you submit 100? Usually I'll just do 10 on those, Near, and I've never actually submitted 100 on those, and 10 has always worked for me. Might just have to submit a couple times. Startup cost, if you have like $1,000 to $2,000, that's good. I had $1,500 when I started, and then just kind of kept reinvesting the money. So if you don't have a ton of money when you're starting out, just keep in mind you're probably going to end up reinvesting that money for quite a while. So if you're starting with like no money, don't expect to be pulling $50,000 in your bank account anytime soon. You got to remember that a lot of the growth comes from reinvesting those profits, and then later down the line you can pull a salary and that kind of thing. How big is your team? There's just 6 of us at the moment. So smaller team than I have been running in the past, but just focused on overall profitability. Going pretty good so far. Yeah, at one point I had closer to like 15 people on the team. It just didn't make as much sense. I was able to basically keep the same amount of profit, manage way less people. It's kind of what we were looking at there. How long before you start making money to keep? That's kind of up to you. However fast you want to start pulling profit back in your pocket. For me, I didn't start paying myself for like a year into the business. Just because I wanted to have as much of that compound growth as possible, and I was living on scholarship at the time. I was in college, that kind of thing, so it just made sense. If you need the money to pay rent, that kind of thing, then makes total sense. You probably got to pull money a little bit faster, but that's kind of up to you, basically. Let's see. Do you use no? So that software is for like independent sellers, basically, who aren't on marketplaces. So for Amazon shipping, you'll use Boxum, or for like the FBM labels where you're shipping direct to the customer, just buy those on Amazon. You have partnered rates if you ship through Amazon or if you ship through Boxum. So you could start with 200 or 300. You're not really going to get anywhere if you start with two or $300. You can definitely learn the ropes, but in terms of like the overhead, you pretty much have to spend at least $80 a month between the Amazon account and the sourcing software that you need. And then even then, you would have no idea how much money you're making, right? So you'd have no analytics kind of method. So that's why I say you need like at least $1,000 to $2,000. So you have money to spend on inventory to cover all the the overhead, even though it's relatively low as far as starting a business is concerned. You still want to have like at least $1,000 or $2,000. If you only have a couple $100 that you want to put into it, you can start scanning like used books at the thrift store. That's how I made my first sales, is just scanning books at the thrift store, buying stuff for $1, selling it for a lot more. It just takes a while to find stuff, but if you don't have very much money, it's kind of what you got to do. Should you take off the price tag before sending into Amazon? Yeah, for sure, Lawrence. Yeah, you'll see. You'll see like customers will complain if you leave a price tag on it for like $10 and you sell it for 30. I've definitely seen some negative feedback there. Do you buy from eBay? Not for things in new condition. It's a little bit of a sketchy territory as far as documentation is concerned. But if you're selling things as used, you can definitely buy them on eBay. I did that a lot when I was selling books. I would buy books on eBay from eBay booksellers that couldn't sell it for as much money. And then I would sell it on Amazon where that same book was selling for more money. Which is kind of an interesting like book arbitrage. So I was doing a few years ago when I was getting started. Let's see, Costco products gated. There might be gating on like plug in like Kirkland, and if it asks you for an invoice, then you just buy it from Costco, for example. I'm not 100% on that. A lot of the best products that you'll sell on Amazon are things that require some extra levels of discount beyond like Costco. Typically, the price is the price, right? The stuff that I'll usually buy is things where I'm usually buying below the wholesale price, so I'm waiting for like the right sale to come. I'm using a coupon, maybe a discounted gift card, every possible way to kind of save some money. So usually your prices are going to be lower than a wholesale price, which means like Costco typically isn't like the best source. I have bought a couple items there, but everyone can typically access the same prices. The stuff you want is the stuff where there's only 2 days or 3 days where the price is low on sale, the right kind of seasonal sales going on. And I can go crazy during like that small window, and then it's not copyable outside of that. Let's see. How do you scale to $1 million a month? I mean, I've never sold $1 million a month, so I can't tell you exactly, but you're kind of just hiring more people, doubling down on systems, that kind of thing. I do know a couple people personally who are doing 10, 20 million, buying from websites, buying from retail stores, reselling online. It's pretty crazy. Some really large scale businesses out there just buying from websites. What's an example of the product you buy? Yeah, for sure. So let's say a few weeks ago there was a sale on an auto ungated brand called Stafford. So that's a good place to start sourcing from if you need one. A bunch of those, there was a bunch of shirts for like $14 you could get them on sale. And then on Amazon, those same shirts sold like 1 to 200 times a month for $28 to $35, depending on what size and what color they were. So that's like one example. Yeah. What do you suggest for beginners? Wholesale and private label are both really bad for beginners. Wholesale, you're going to have to buy a lot of product, and it's natural you're going to buy some stuff that's not good as a beginner, and those are going to be really expensive mistakes. And then private label is you're kind of just rolling a dice to see if the product is going to work or not. And you just don't want to roll the dice with no cash flow. A lot of people, they'll build a really awesome like reselling business, doing online arbitrage, kind of what I do, and then they'll use that money to just roll the dice at a private label product over and over and over again if they want, and then eventually one will work, and they'll just do private label from there. But yeah, I wouldn't throw a bunch of money at stuff that's kind of like an expensive idea to test as a beginner. Where can you buy products as a beginner? Local retail stores is like the easiest place. So if you just go to the store and scan stuff with the SellerAmp app at like a Ross or a grocery outlet or TJ Maxx, you'll get a really good like hands-on idea of what stuff sells for. If you want to do it all from home, just look up auto ungated sourcing on YouTube, or just look up Fields of Profit free course on YouTube. There's like a 4-hour long YouTube video that I made that shows you literally every step, making your first $1,000 or so. Let's see. Once you do a test order, how many should you order after? If you're doing a test order, usually it's going to be like 5 or 10 units. And then let's say you sold your 10 units in a week, you buy 40, right? Because usually you want to buy like a month's worth of stock. It also depends on like, sometimes you might buy an item and you know that that's the lowest price you're going to see for a long time. So for example, when Black Friday sales come, that's going to be the lowest price that we're going to see on a lot of items. So it might make sense to buy 2 months of stock or 3 months of stock and so on, right? Just because you know you're getting like the lowest possible price. What's the YouTube beginner video? Yeah, just look up Fields of Profit free course on YouTube. For all of you guys that just want like a basic starting guide, and it's like a 4-hour video, so you can pause, take notes, come back after a day or two, that kind of thing. It's definitely a lot of information in there. Let's see, what app do you use to scan the product? SellerAmp for scanning the barcodes. Let's see, if you buy from a store with SellerAmp, Amazon asks for proof of purchase. What do you do then? You'll submit the receipt. If you're buying stuff in store, it's smart to like take a picture of the receipt with the products. So like throw it all in the trunk, hold up the receipt, take a picture. That way you can prove that you bought legitimate inventory. But yeah, just keep good track and make sure you have track of where you bought all your items, because it's like you said, it's not unusual for Amazon to ask where you're buying stuff. But Amazon's just making sure you're not buying like counterfeits or stolen goods, that kind of thing. It's a perfectly legitimate way to buy, as long as you're buying from real retail stores. Let's see, if you see dog food at Marshall's, can you get ungated at Petco? Yeah, Lawrence. So you just get like an invoice from like a Petco online, get your address on it, and you'll be good to go. What's the YouTube beginner guide? Yeah, so any of you guys that want like the beginner guide, there's actually a beginner guide up here on TikTok or down below if you guys are on YouTube. There's a free course that you can check out there, or just look up Fields of Profit on YouTube. I've got like a free course and that kind of stuff you can dive into. Shoot, Emery, yeah, let me know what it is. Do you think it's okay to apply with a 10-unit invoice that requires 400? Yeah, that's all I do, Sapphire. Yeah. You'll see ones where it asks for like 100 or 200, 400. I've only ever just used 10. Let's see. You thought legit inventory was only from wholesalers? Yeah, I had that same misconception. A lot of people do. My first year on Amazon, I only sold books because I didn't think you were allowed to sell like name brand stuff from retail stores. But made some connections and talked to people who are doing it, and they're like, no, you can just get ungated to sell brands. You can sell it from retail stores. And I know you can, because at this point, my Amazon account has been reviewed twice by Amazon. And we submitted all of our online documents and that kind of stuff, and we were good to go. We're back on the platform. So I can tell you from personal experience that receipts and order confirmations from websites will work if Amazon wants to make sure your items are legit. Let's see. Let's see. Have you ever made your own product? No, not as far as like individual like product I sell on Amazon. No, I just buy and sell stuff that already sells on Amazon. Yeah. So name brand makeup, name brand toys, clothes, all that kind of stuff. Do you ship products yourself? Sort of. So I'll buy the inventory from, let's say, Walmart.com. I'll ship it from Walmart.com to my prep center, which is in Montana, where there's no state sales tax. So I save money that way, and I pay them per unit to ship those products to Amazon. That's like the basics of how it works. When I was getting started, though, I would ship it to my house, and then from my house, I ship it into Amazon's warehouse. For sure. Let's see, how long did it take you to get your first sale? It's pretty quick, Zach. I would say like from watching the first video, like learning what Amazon even was to making a sale was probably 3 weeks or so. Yeah, I mean, you just spend a day or two learning. Spend the next week learning how to source and buy something by the end of the week, and then a week or two later you'll have your first sale. So especially if you guys are like actually serious about making money, you got to get after it kind of right now, just because the Christmas season is coming up, and there's only about a month for you to prep for Christmas from here to like really have a good really good holiday season. So if you guys have been thinking about it, now is the time to kind of get serious. It's basically the most profitable time of year. Let's see, how often you go live? Yeah, every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday I'm live. For sure. Do you have a storefront or separate links? So you do have like an Amazon storefront. No one really shops from like your storefront on Amazon though. Like no one's gonna look at your store specifically. They're just searching things on Amazon, and it's your job to kind of have the right shipping speed and price to be the one that's showing up in the buy box, so in that add to cart button. So generally, if you have like FBA shipping, which you can get just by shipping products into Amazon's warehouse, and your price is like around the current buy box price, you'll start making sales too. Let's see, selling lighter things versus heavier. Yeah, I tended to sell like lighter products just because the shipping gets a little weird. But there's like entire Amazon businesses that are just based around like shipping super heavy products. So really, whatever niche you want to fall into, you can for sure. Let's see. How do you reverse source with high profit? Yeah, so super basic way to find your first product. Go to check like 5 to 10 websites, see what's cheap. Maybe you check walgreens.com and you see there's a big sale on vitamins. All right, now I'm going to go to vitamin sellers on Amazon and see all the products they sell because I know, all right, there's cheap vitamins at Walgreens today. And then I'm just comparing the two back and forth, specifically only looking at products that other sellers are already having success with, right? That way I'm not looking at a website and hoping there's an Amazon listing, hoping it sells well, all that kind of stuff. I'm just looking at what already works for people and then comparing that back to a place where I know it's like cheaper than normal today. That's like the super fundamental basics of it. About a month ago, Costco had money off Halloween. Would that be something you'd have looked at? There definitely could have been some opportunity there. Yeah, like if you're in the store next time, scan those products with the SellerAmp app. It'll show you like what the data on those products look like. You can also look back and see like last Halloween, what price did they go to? Sometimes you might see like seasonal products go really expensive during the time where they're kind of in season, basically. So there very well could have been some opportunity there. For sure. How'd you start alone or through a company? Yeah, I just started selling stuff on Amazon. You don't really need to. There's like agencies and that kind of stuff you can start selling with, but especially when it comes to reselling, maybe get in a community if you have some money to spend, that kind of thing. It's definitely beneficial. Beyond that, just sell something on Amazon. Yeah, I was just kind of digging in on YouTube, started selling basically. Let's see, how did you start selling? So I sold used books for like the first little bit as an Amazon seller, and then found out that I could sell name brand stuff, and that's a lot more profitable and a lot more scalable is what I realized pretty quick. So been doing that for about 5 years now, selling name brand stuff, and been selling Amazon since 2018. Let's see. Do if the weight of an item on SellerAmp is wrong. So that just means Amazon thinks the weight is wrong too. So if the weight of a product is wrong on Amazon, you can request a remeasure. You just make a case with Amazon, say, hey, I think the dimensions are wrong. They'll measure it, and then the fees will change accordingly. Yeah. Let's see. How do you get ungated for products that say you must have 100 products? I've only ever submitted 10 on those, Abdul, and it's always worked. Yeah, for sure. Do you ever get stuck with product you can't sell? Sometimes. Usually the only time that would happen is if like let's say you sell on a listing and the brand name was incorrect. So the listing gets removed on Amazon, or there was the UPC that was linked to the listing. That's been one recently where if the UPC that's on the listing isn't a real UPC, it's not a GS1 UPC, that listing might go down. But kind of the whole point of selling things that already sell on Amazon, like reselling, like what I do, is you're not really risking buying things that aren't going to sell on Amazon unless some outside force happens, right? When I buy something, I know exactly how fast it sells every month. I know exactly how much profit I'm going to make. And kind of the major downside to that is that if you're just reselling products, it's not a sellable asset. It's not a sellable business. To be honest, no one's really private label businesses are not exactly being bought recently either. So at this point, it's kind of just whatever cash flow you prefer. Let's see, what's typical profit margin? Anywhere from 10 to 20% is typical. Yeah. For sure. Why do products have no buy box? If Amazon thinks that if Amazon sees, like, let's say Walmart is running a sale for $10 on the product you're trying to sell for 30, Amazon might suppress it on Google, so the buy box would go away because your price is so much higher than another marketplace. Usually that isn't a huge deal, and a lot of times products with no buy box can still sell really well. Yeah. Let's see. What up, Tony? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Hope the hairless cat's doing good too. I'm drawing a blank on the name right now. Let's see. What tool do you use? Yes, as far as sourcing goes, SellerAmp and Keepa is how you source products. And then on the back end, you'll use Boxem, which is how you make shipments and list products. That's how you get feedback automated. And then there's also an AI assistant on Boxem as well. So the Boxem AI assistant can kind of help you source products and answer any questions, show you how to source, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's basically like ChatGPT, but specifically for Amazon sellers. Let's see. If you get undercut by pennies by another seller, should you match or wait it out? This time of year, usually you can just wait it out because almost everyone's going to sell out on their best stuff during the holiday rush, and then you'll be the only one left, and you can raise the price on them. But yeah, usually if you're getting undercut, you can just set a rule to be above them by a penny or 2 pennies or whatever they're undercutting you by, because being a penny cheaper than somebody doesn't actually win more sales on Amazon. Yeah, being a penny cheaper doesn't actually win more sales. It's going to be pretty much the same. To undercut somebody and win more sales, you're going to have to be, $1 cheaper, $2 cheaper, like a significant percentage. What do you sell? Anything that's profitable, short answer. Recently it's been, stuff like clothes and vitamins and grocery and makeup. I'm not picky on what I sell. I just go wherever stuff is cheap that day. Some days you open up the computer and there's a bunch of good sales on makeup. I'm buying makeup that day. Some days there's good sales on grocery products. I'm buying groceries that day. I'm just buying whatever kind of niche across the internet is cheapest. So you're the lowest price on a listing. How long till you get a sale? If the listing's actually selling, should be relatively quick. You look at the data offers tab on Keepa, and you can see what people have been having success on, basically. Sweet. Yeah, awesome. Appreciate you guys hanging out here. For those of you guys who kind of want some next steps in terms of getting started selling on Amazon, to find that first product, go on YouTube and just look up Fields of Profit free course. There's a 4-hour YouTube video there. You'll get Keepa, get SellerAmp for sourcing products, and then you'll get Boxum for listing the product, shipping it, all that good stuff, the AI assistant, that kind of stuff. And really just prioritize within the next week or two. Try to spend $100 on products, $50 on products, whatever is not significant to you, that kind of thing. That'll be a great starting point. Main thing right now is just get that practice in as quick as possible, because it's really important with Christmas kind of coming quick. There's lots of good opportunities. So I act on those if you want some good action items. Probably going to go ahead and wrap up stream here. Lots of good questions and stuff like this. So I'll probably do the exact same stream. I'll be on TikTok and YouTube Thursday, same time. So yeah, dive in all that if you guys are excited. And awesome. Yeah. Fields of Profit on YouTube for you guys on TikTok. Appreciate you guys. Sweet. Thank you guys over here on YouTube. Let's see. See a couple questions and we'll wrap up here as well. Toward between going all in, throwing severance inventory. I would not do that, Sarah, just because any business is risky and I don't want you to go completely all in on something that you don't understand yet. Maybe if you were, 6 months down the line and you know exactly what you're doing, that could be different. But I don't want to tell you to do that and something bad happens. You can still do it, but personally, I'm not going to feel feel good if you do it. It takes you a little longer to learn than you expect and that kind of thing. Do whatever you can to get some side income going there. Hopefully, back on your feet quick here, Sarah. Yeah, I would play it safe if I were you, Sarah. You can still make plenty of money on Amazon without needing to go full time and that kind of thing. So a lot of people will do like 50 to 100K a month with Amazon before they think about leaving their 9 to 5. Yeah, gig work's a good idea too. See, you found some profitable items that have different sizes. You think you should source one size or different sizes? Any of them that are profitable. Yeah, any of them that meet your criteria. See, if you buy too much from a big retail store, will they flag and ban you? Some of them might if they just like really hate retail store like resellers. But for those, I would rather make the $5,000 that website's going to let me make before they ban my account than to never make money at all, right? So just place orders until you run into problems, then you can try to solve the problems with PayPal, discounted gift cards, that kind of thing. Sweet, good vibes over here on YouTube as well today, guys. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up stream. You guys have a good rest of your day, and go spend some money on products today, even if it's 5 units of something. Go get after it. We got fun times ahead here. Thanks, y'all.